Welcome back to the Stand Up and Shout Rock Show with Whisk and Kev, coming to you live from the Salisbury Center Studios in Manassas, Virginia. On the Wylde Style Network, fueled by Monster Energy.
Dude, Wylde Style, man. You know, one of my favorite bands is Wylde Stallions.
Wylde Stallions.
Yes. They had a late 80s tour that included San Dimas.
Yes, San Dimas. Also, San Dimas is the home of Charvel Guitars.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Nice.
Look at that. San Dimas Factory.
As a matter of fact, one of the guitar models is called the San Dimas.
Okay. Excellent.
San Dimas high school football rules, dude.
And it is Spotlight on Friday night.
Yes.
Metal
another.
Night. And joining us in the studio, Age of Ruin.
So there's been a lot of conversation between Daniel and I off and on through the day about, because I've
been like trying to talk to you and not talk to you at the same time because I wanted to save it for this moment so that we could all
talk together. I think this is a celebratory moment because we were talking, Kevin and I were talking independently about this.
Yeah, your mic is not good.
Scott, I can't get any closer.
What'd I do?
Don't touch it.
Kevin, say something in the meantime.
Oh, it's that little tweak right there. You got it?
Yep.
All right.
Now don't touch it.
Now don't touch it.
We'll clip that.
Right. So what I was saying was that you guys now are the most are most visited or are most regular,
most appearances
on the Stand Up and Shout Rock Show. Scott, where's the little?
Yeah, we did a little applause.
Yeah, a little applause on that.
There we go.
Age of Ruins in the house.
Yes, because I think we enjoy it so much. You know.
I think we do.
And that's why I've held off.
No, we do.
At least I'm just saying, like, I'm speaking maybe for myself, not even for you, Kevin, but I enjoy it so much. So that's why I've held off on conversation with you, because I'm trying to hold it for here.
Oh, I see. You're saving it.
Yes.
Savor the moment.
Right. So, like, everything that you started
to keep
talk
the content intact.
Right. We were starting to talk about things downstairs. I'm like, shut up. We can't talk about that now.
You can't rehearse this shit, man.
Right. So one of the things that we talked about, we'll just kick right into it before we talk about, like, all the things that you've been doing, because you guys have been doing a lot, like, over the past several weeks. So we'll get to that. But until that, Daniel saw me and then said that he saw our last podcast, which is only 2 days ago, where we ranked Metallica albums from our I don't want to say least favorite. That's the wrong way to put it.
Well, I'll tell you how I saw it.
All right.
See, I subscribe and like to your channel, so it was fed to me in the morning. I guess 2 days ago it would have been, and I watched about 5 minutes of it, and then we'll get into the conversation we're about to have.
Right.
Where I had to turn it off because I was so disappointed in your rankings. So let's see how this conversation goes.
But before we all talk about it, before we all of us talk about it, I'm going to say that there's no bad Metallica album. So, like, we prefaced that show by saying that, and that is still my feelings at least. And I know that that's yours also. So there was no negativity necessarily towards our rankings. It was just like what we basically like to listen to more.
But we're gonna have a wide survey here, so I know.
I'm curious.
Right.
Your rankings may come in disappointing, like you thought ours were. So
Okay.
And I'll throw this out there also. So we've talked to two other bands tonight, and we only asked them what their favorite Metallica album was, and there was a lot of uniformity in their decision, which was kind of surprising. And there was differences between the two bands, which may speak to their influences, but then at the same time, or their age, there was I didn't want to throw that out there, but you know, all the same, I'm kind of curious if you guys are going to kind of gel together like that.
Okay.
So we could do this a couple ways because it depends on what you guys want to do with your time. We did all 11 albums that in that ranked order, and we revealed them in the cards that you have. So you would hold the card up to the camera if you want to reveal your number 11, and we can do a countdown like that from 11 to 1, or we could say start at number 5 just to kind of like save some time. It's just how much you guys want to talk about it and how much time you guys have.
I don't know. What do you guys want to do? See, my thing is, if we start at 11, then I got 4 that I could just throw out right now.
You mean in the back?
And I know that you say there's no bad Metallica album, and I totally agree with that statement.
Uh-huh.
That doesn't mean that there's 11 good Metallica albums.
Oh,
all right.
Wow, that's strong.
In my opinion, you know what I mean? What do you guys?
That's very strong.
I would say, you talking about the last four. The last four for me, I love that they're still playing music. It's just there's no songs on any of those records that speak to me.
Okay.
That's just I love that they're still doing music. It's badass, and
Yeah.
it's just the last couple of records. Nothing speaks to me.
Okay, so you guys got me like excited and interested. So now I want to see all 11. So like, are you cool doing all 11? Like with that
All right, let's
statement,
do
I
it.
want to see what these back four
Yeah,
are.
because I think that's a fair statement, and I will say that personally, the newest record,
I'm still listening.
I'm still giving it a shot.
Right. Digesting that a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I get it.
It's so fresh. I mean, it's only
Yes.
been out for 3 weeks or
Yeah,
something,
yeah.
maybe 4. So
Let me ask you this, like on a side note, because Kevin has strong feelings about this. Did you like the new Megadeth album better or the new Metallica album better?
I don't even think I've heard the new Megadeth.
All
I've
right.
only heard a couple songs.
All right.
Yeah.
I really don't have an opinion yet.
All right. That's fair.
I'm gonna go Metallica.
Didn't mean to put you on the spot. I
I'm
didn't
gonna go
mean to, like,
Metallica on that one.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Metallica.
That's
on
why
that
everyone
one. And
has an
dude's-
opinion.
And dude's wearing a Megadeth shirt right now. So,
Kevin is like Mr. Megadeth.
well, and believe me, I absolutely huge Megadeth fan. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he lives and breathes Dave Mustaine.
But there's been some lineup changes that have, and the whole thing with Dave Ellefson was just not even discussed. But like, there's been some lineup changes that have happened over the years that have been influential. They've just, to me as a guitar player, I would go Megadeth. Songwriting on the newest records, I think I'm leaning Metallica only because finally Metallica has come through with a record that seems like they really have their soul back in it.
All right.
You know what I mean? But yeah, so
You might have a preface into your order with that being said,
I mean,
where you just mentioned 72 Seasons, the new album.
yeah, which starts with 72 Seasons,
Yes.
the track. And it's one of these songs where it takes a long time for them to get into the song. Like there's this real long intro into it that I feel like it maybe is reminiscent of their earlier days where they were kind of like a more riffy band where they like build up things.
Right.
But in terms of like a rock and roll album, it takes a while to get into it. You don't get the vocals right off the bat.
Right.
So and then tracking through the record, you kind of always want to hear that like, there was some of the instrumental songs like Call of Cthulhu that were really awesome. That just you could listen to as a teenager. I would just listen to and just lay on the floor and be like, man, this is just awesome. Just like digest this shit, you know. And then and then also like Sanitarium. Unforgiven, some of these songs that were like a little bit more like they had clean guitars and stuff missing off of this record, you know what I mean? So overall I feel like it's a great thrash record. Like they really brought that energy back as an entire piece. Still not that classic Metallica record that you want as like a whole.
I was going to cut you off from explaining that more, but I see everybody around you still making their order. So I was like, that was just great.
all right.
Because I maybe
Don't cut
added
me off.
some
Don't
weight.
cut me off yet.
I didn't mean to add any weight to everybody else. You guys are like, holy shit! We have to do this. This is like a quiz.
Yeah. By the way, I should introduce. We've got our good friend Pablo here. I went to high school with Pablo.
Okay.
Pablo Van Winkle is a friend of mine. We used to have lunch together in high school, and we were
At Fairfax High School.
Woodson High School
Woodson.
in Fairfax.
Yes,
In Fairfax, Virginia, and we were kind of like we used to hang out with the punk rock kids outside in the courtyard during lunch. Rain, sleet, snow, shine. We were out there. You know what I mean? And all of the the popular people, they would come out when it was nice and sunny and everything, but we were always out there just hanging out, talking music and everything. So it's really awesome to have Pablo out. He's been a good friend of the band and started a really cool website. In what year did you start that site?
It was around the end of '96. 97, around 98. So the website and the band have about the same lifespan.
Fear.com it was. And,
all right, nice, yeah.
And, you know, today we've got Facebook and a lot of social media that's easy for people to share content and also, more importantly, make people aware of events like this.
Right.
Spotlights on Friday night. It's easy for us to put it on Facebook and Instagram and social media. Before all of that existed, Pablo set up a site where you could, where bands would submit all of the shows that were happening, and you had this calendar of all of the shows.
This man changed the game.
And man,
it's a good call.
in the DC, Virginia, Maryland scene, if it weren't for Fear.com, I mean, I don't know if people would know what was going on. And Hendrik, you remember, Hendrix, you know, he plays drums with us, has been a long friend of the band as well, before he even was in the band. Was in a band called Left Unsaid, and he used to set up shows. And man, if we didn't have that website, I don't even know if we would.
It's
be
the
as
electronic
successful as
message
we are.
board.
Right. Yeah.
It's the old message
what we were
board.
learning from was
Yeah.
message boards.
Yeah, and there's a forum.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Before that, everyone had the email list.
Right.
And so it was great for all of us to be able to experience that and go from flyers to exchanging emails to being able to talk on forums, and now we have social media and we can exchange tons of photos and videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
All right. Let's reveal.
So now I just wanted to make sure we got him introduced.
So, like, there's some strong appealings. I'm going to bring you back into this. There's some strong feelings. I think for the first 4 albums is what I've heard.
The last 4.
The last, we call this segment bottoms up. So the bottom.
All right, bottoms
so
up, man.
So the bottom 4, we're talking bottom 4, right?
Yep.
All right, bottom 4. All right, let's reveal number 11. What do you guys got for 11?
Obviously,
Saint Anger.
Saint Anger. Come
We got
on.
a 72 seasons Saint Anger.
Saint Anger.
Wait a minute, 72 seasons.
Saint Anger.
Oh, and then we got is that Reload or Load?
it's a
Reload.
Reload.
See? Yeah, you're right. There's some diversity here, and I love it. All right.
Hendrik, you're going 72.
Fight night's happening tomorrow. We can go down to the Octagon and just like settle
And I'm
this.
sitting right next to a drummer, and he's telling me that the snare drum sound on Saint Anger is not so bad.
By the way, Daniel, you're the only one that has shown Saint Anger as number 11 out of everyone that we've talked to. I'm just gonna say.
Well,
I'm just gonna say.
I do have a special ear for like really good and that's
I mean, I'm
probably-
putting it down there because I haven't really listened through it. I can't. these
That's
bottom
fair.
ones.
That's right. Pablo, you got great taste. I'm going to say that right out of the gate. Like you're spot on. You're
Which one was it? Reload? Reload. Okay.
yeah.
All right.
So wait a minute. So like Saint. So the 72 seasons. Are you guys feeling like that is a like just a no listen? Or is it's just too new, or is it a no listen?
I just can't give it a good rating right at the moment
It's an
without
unknown.
giving it that full proper listen
Right.
through.
I know, because I've been listening to it and I like it. But
I liked the single Lux Eterna.
That's a cool song.
Yeah, it's a cool song.
I like the the guitar work. Kirk, has some cool solos and stuff on the record. But like I was saying,
Yeah, but you just
before-
put Saint Anger as your number 11, and you're the only one that's done that.
Dude, that snare tone, man. It sounds like
I'm kidding.
it sounds like the dude's hitting a keg with a hammer, man.
I get you. All right.
All right, so number 10.
Number
Let's
10.
see if we can redeem with number 10. Hardwired. There's the Saint Anger.
I'm going Hardwired.
There you are. The brothers have supported one another. Hardwired, Death Magnetic, and then another with the Load and Reload. Pablo, you have
okay.
fantastic taste. Like you are spot on.
Oh, come on, this is biased, man.
You're not gonna like mine.
I heard your podcast. There's some bias in the room. That's what we got, right?
So where did you go with Load and Reload?
So part of this is familiarity.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to harshly judge the
Oh.
album covers I don't recognize.
All right.
And so there's a bunch I haven't heard.
Right.
But I remember Load and Reload being around the time I was
Right.
listening to Metallica.
Right. And so we got to get Death Magnetic is a throwaway for you.
I'm just, again, nothing on it speaks to me, man.
Really?
Yeah, nothing on it speaks to me.
Wow, that was way high up in my list.
Yeah.
That was the record that followed to me the classic.
So
four.
okay, because you thought it was a
it was a
throwback to the
return. It was a return to my number one.
Okay.
I did connect in that way. I'm old. I don't know. Like I felt like
I
I,
mean,
heard that.
come on,
before.
man.
It was the
You're only as
follow
old
up
as
to
you
Saint
feel.
Anger. So it followed up Saint Anger. So the knock, other than the drum sound, because everybody beefs on the drum sound, but also no guitar solos. on Saint Anger.
That's true.
Exactly.
That's very
So
good.
maybe as a guitar player, maybe that's where you
Yeah.
know.
Good point.
And so
Where I
Death
go with-
Magnetic.
Kevin, you're helping him out.
That's where I go with number 9.
Or number 9. Death Magnetic is another Death Magnetic, and there's another Saint. So you guys are pretty uniform on Saint Anger, even though
Stanger.
it's not necessarily.
Yeah, Stanger is.
Yeah. So it's not. I don't think that either of us had it beyond number 9, did we?
Saint
No,
Anger.
we have the exact same bottom rankings as Pablo.
Yeah.
Has been?
Yep.
Pablo's got fantastic.
Oh, Pablo. Yeah. Right. Man, we got a lot of discussion.
Was it drum sound then for you? Was it we go back to the snare? Is it going?
For Saint Anger.
Yes. Yeah.
The sound overall just.
Trash can drums.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
rough.
Yeah.
It was a little rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so for me, they were trying. I felt like there was an attempt. I don't know. Like,
Be
They were a
innovative
mess.
or,
to get out of the commercial sound of
okay.
their middle phase.
Yeah, sure. You know, and then you know, with Jason Newsted being out of the picture,
Right.
For he was a big part of that sound, and
Sure.
you know, of course, Cliff Burton was a legend, but
Right.
Jason was a huge part of that band that really just carried it together, brought the backing vocals
Right.
live. You know, his bass parts are just amazing. You know, so I think maybe to me it's a little bit of the nostalgia.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
I've seen them, several times over the years, and the live show, hands down, we can all agree, a Metallica live show is just unbelievable.
Of course. Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
Yep.
So are we getting now to albums that we like?
Not quite.
We're not. So we,
Well, I would say I don't. There's not one that I don't like. I just,
right.
Yeah.
And well, that we connect with.
It's more following Ben and stuff that connects with us, or it's just just listening.
All right.
These top ones are gonna be ones that we still probably regularly listen to and influence us even today.
yeah, and I can't wait to get to those. So let's
All right. Let's go.
Next
Let's do
on
it.
mine is
A lot of 72 seasons. A lot of 72
Look at that,
seasons.
72
All right.
seasons.
There's a reload.
again.
Wait.
It's new, and
Uh-huh.
and we got to give it enough time to
Uh-huh.
to simmer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
But like
Fair
I said,
enough.
I feel like it's missing a lot of what you would expect in a Metallica record, like I wouldn't call them ballads because Metallica, come on, it's Metallica, but like some of the songs that have clean guitars and like I said, with the opening track coming in with just kind of riffing for a long time, it kind of makes you like think, when is this song going to start? You know? So.
So I'll also say, because I noticed another Death Magnetic. So you guys have completely eliminated Death Magnetic, which is, I keep going back to it because it's high for me, but it's also high. So we had, this really kind of stemmed with Metallica specifically because we were out one night and we ran across a guy that we know, it's a friend of ours, concert goer. He's a member of the Virginia Fuel Metallica fan club. So, the hyper rabid
Nice.
Metallica fan club. And he is way into Death Magnetic.
Interesting.
Yes, way into it. So, I know he's going to watch this because anything that talks Metallica, he's going to pay attention to.
Well, he should come to an Age of Ruin.
So, Roger, Roger,
That's where I had it.
Yeah. So, Roger, I
It
want to
was
see
all-
what
it
you
was
think
off
of all
my
of
board
this.
by
I
then.
see what you think of all
By
this.
the way,
Roger.
if you were to rank Age of Ruin records, you've got nothing. You have no idea what's about to come, man. This stuff we've been working on. That's we're trying to get into the studio by the end of the
this.
summer. In fact, we have a love song on this upcoming
Really?
record.
All right.
We've
As
really,
a ballad?
Not really a ballad. What would you say, Ben? Not really a ballad. It's big guitars.
Yeah.
But it's mostly sung, whereas this band has a lot of screaming in our
melodic
history.
rock,
The Return of Ben.
Very melodic, and as a matter of fact, we've kind of been drawing on some influences in 90s grunge, even.
Okay.
STP and Pearl Jam, and anyways, we're getting off.
All right. We at number 7 or number 6?
I think we are on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're on 7.
All right, 7.
So
Hey,
to
we
me,
can talk
now
about it,
we're
can't we?
in.
All right, there's Hardwired.
All right,
You see a
number 7.
Hardwired? There's a Reload. Oh, is that a Justice? And a Justice, another. There's, okay, so we.
Justice.
Again, you have fantastic taste. I can't compliment you.
Thank you.
So, that was our first band this evening. Why is the name blanking on me?
Seculos,
yes. Justice was their number one. I think we said that earlier, right? Like they love them some Justice. So you guys like have that kind of higher up in your order, like surprisingly.
Yeah,
What was it?
Out of 11, to me, this is, and only because there's a lot in front of it. Great record.
Lack of bass? Lack of bass?
No bass.
Yeah, lack of bass.
And man,
Wait, so like Hardwired, I mean, wasn't the strategy on that to crank up all the levels? You know, to really accommodate for the MP3 and the digital file, so that to me there was that was the rumor that I heard. That
I feel like a lot of YouTube and Spotify, these applications, as musicians we know this, and Hendrix, a really good producer, does really good mixes. At the end of the day, they level everything out through their applications. So if you play something through YouTube or Spotify or anything, it's kind of going to do a lot of the leveling for you. An album like Justice, you can't. There's the bass is just not there.
Right.
And it's never going to be there. So
Right.
I don't know. To me, the production.
You probably
value,
turned it off by this point, but that's the album that I would love to see them remaster of all the albums that because they've remastered almost all of them, but that one.
Yeah.
But I feel like they would actually need to remix it as well as remaster because the bass is just absent. You turn up the low end and the bass drum's going to be kind of, which it already is, like super in your face, right?
That's a good point. Yeah.
But great songwriting on that one.
All right. Number six. Let's get to it. Wow. Ride the Lightning.
Kill 'em all.
Wow, that you have to explain that. All right, so we have a Ride the Lightning at number 6.
Well, what it's going to come down to is more just what the top ones I have above it again are.
Sure.
More influential to me.
Okay, right.
Not a bad album.
Absolutely. So what personally, maybe I should ask you later, connected with you more maybe about that. So maybe I'll hold that question. Okay. So when we get down to your first 3, because to me uniformly Ride the Lightning has been lower on everyone's list, lowering meaning that it was higher in order. Yeah. Wow. All right.
Except for Conjure, that was pretty much their favorite.
Yes, that's right. That's a good point. Conjure's, that was their 3 out of 4. That was their number 1.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting you brought up age earlier. We're all roughly in our 40s, meaning Gen X. We were born, 79, 80, 83, between those years. And so Metallica came out. Their first record was in 83, right? So, I mean,
you were alive for it.
We were, well.
I mean, you weren't necessarily maybe.
But not really exposed to Metallica until a teenager, which would have been around the Black Album.
The Black Album,
right.
So it's interesting you bring that point up.
Right.
So for us, it's kind of discovery in the same way like we would with Black Sabbath.
Yep.
Very influential records. Listen to them until the tape wore out type thing. Right. But certainly weren't there at the onset. Right. Like early Iron Maiden, of course we all go listen to. Yeah. But anyway,
well, and that's what was the interesting part with Seculos picking Justice, because they're all 21, some of them about to turn 22. So they were born in 2001 or 2002.
Right.
So they, the Black Album was already out. Load and Reload had already been released. And, so it's completely. So it was kind of shocking that Justice, they all loved that album.
Yeah, sure. Well, and it kind of, to a certain extent, it speaks to like a group of friends, as I'm sure, as they obviously are, as a band, kind of, when we were, in our teen, like you'd drive around, had a Toyota Celica, and we would just put these CDs. To the listeners at home, I got this compact disc.
Big CD book in the back of the seat.
Which really ages us because it was a cassette.
I'm sure you guys weren't on 8 tracks.
No 8 tracks, but
we were cassette tape.
But I think we
at number 5.
He makes a good point. Like we are still in the top 6, and there's it's hard to rank some outstanding records and pick your best.
I don't know if you found this, like the bottom and the top were hard. The middle was the easiest part for me, like in doing this.
Okay.
Mushy middle.
Yeah.
Number 5.
I thought the worst were the easiest for me.
Yeah.
But
all right.
5.
Here we go. We gotta ride the lightning. Kill them all.
Number 5.
Wow. And there's a Justice.
You're on, man.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I had Justice at 5.
The same.
I like that you are learning about each other.
We've known each other for decades, man.
This exercise is I'm getting psychological.
To Ride the Lightning,
it's more than about the music. It's about each other.
Ride the Lightning is actually, I want to say, the hands down the first record, Metallica record, I got into.
Okay.
And I got into Metallica when the Black Album was big. Inner Sandman, Sad but True, The Unforgiven, like just like song after song, just an outstanding record, right? But it was, and that was probably the gateway drug for me to getting into metal.
Yeah.
I got into, at the same time, we were into Slayer, and Anthrax, Iron Maiden, like all these great records. Ride the Lightning was, to me, I was like, the Black Album came out, and then I'm like, what else is there? Right. And I found this record, and I was like, God damn, like this is metal, like, oh, this is really badass. And I remember just listening to this record just nonstop.
Sure.
The song Ride the Lightning.
Yeah.
In it. Just like, oh man, such a great song. Such a great record. Creeping Death.
All right.
Creeping Death.
All right.
There he is.
So Creeping Death.
We're at 4. We have 4 albums left, right?
Creeping Death and
top 4 Metallica albums.
So Jonathan just joined us.
And Jonathan, we don't have Kill 'Em All in that packet, so like don't reveal yet.
Jonathan,
we're all revealing.
You can sit next to me and we can share a mic.
This is a hidden therapy.
So
session.
we're
without Kill 'Em All though.
Without Kill 'Em All. Well, you can put in Kill 'Em All, but just hold up like
Most of them have already put
borrow
Kill 'Em All
mine.
on the couch, so
But
you
we're
can grab
already
one.
down to so you need to rank the top 4.
There you go. We lost our Kill 'Em All.
All right, so
that's a little reveal
Jonathan's
from
here.
Ben.
He's our the guitar player. He's Creeping Death. So of course, anyone who plays metal, anyone who's in a band, and I guarantee you, man, you have probably played cover songs of Metallica.
Yes.
I guarantee it.
Yeah,
I mean, how could you not?
Yes, exactly.
So,
right.
Creeping Death was one of those songs that, like, when I was first playing with, my brother Christopher and our first drummer Patrick, and we were trying to learn how to play, and Creeping Death was one of those songs that we just had to play.
Yeah.
And come to find out, I was talking with it might have been Hendrik. Were you the one telling me that that's the number one, like, as in terms of how many times a song has been played? Were you the one telling me that?
Yeah, there was an article about that was the number 1
Really?
played song live. Yeah,
Oh, by Metallica?
by Metallica. Yeah.
Cool.
In terms of quantity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Make
cool.
sure you're talking to the mic. So, like, Creeping Death, because it's been, it was on this record, and because it's just such a great song. Like, you can't beat that intro. Anyways, it's been played more times than any other Metallica song, apparently. And you would think Enter Sandman.
That was the most excited explanation of a number 5 ranking I've ever heard. So I can't imagine where you're going to go for 4, 3, 2, 1.
You guys are gonna hang me. I mean, dude.
All right, number 4.
Number 4.
Number 4.
Because you guys have to play tonight. Otherwise, we can sit here and talk Metallica albums for like the next 2 hours. All right, so wait a minute. That's a
Yeah, we're on top
reload.
4.
That's a
So you were giving
my
us
old
this-
eyes.
Yeah.
It's load.
That was load. All right,
Load.
so I am so sorry. We got a
Black
reload.
Album.
And there's the reload.
Reload.
It's the fire. The fire. And there's just a black. And then, Jonathan, where are you?
Oh no, the 4th one.
4th,
Yeah.
number 4.
I put Kill 'Em All.
Kill them all.
Yes.
So hold in front of the camera. There you go. So there you go. All right. All right. Wow. So load and reload were higher on our lists. All right. So like I'm gonna go to the load and reload folk.
You mean lower?
So why would you pick?
Yeah, higher, lower. Right. It's like golf.
Kill 'Em All was,
Yeah.
Dave Mustaine wrote a lot of it. I mean, I'm a
that's
big.
true.
There you go. That's Kevin.
And
Like,
then,
I thought Kevin was gonna pick out his number 1.
I'm really into the thrash, but it is like kind of the really early thrash of Metallica, or they're just getting started. But it is like it's rock and roll. It's like really rock and roll in a different way than Load is, or Load or the Black Album. It's like that fast, punky, thrashy Motorhead influenced rock and roll. So I mean, that's what I
new wave of British heavy metal.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I still want to hear about like the connection with Load and Reload.
Oh gosh, man! It's because it's such a good record.
I wanted to hear from Ben.
No, well, I guess it had a lot. Both of those records, Load and Reload, for me, when that came out, it was definitely different from anything that I'd ever done before, and I am a big fan of groove, and I felt like that had so much groove.
All right, yeah, you're right about that.
And it just
right.
every one of them, I just I again, it's what what
right.
speaks to me,
right.
And I have a like for the groove, and
yes,
there was a lot of that.
Okay.
That might have been my age bias.
I was going to say, Jeff, you got to remember they're a little bit younger.
Shh.
A little bit.
Sorry.
But I mean, so Reload though was 99 or 98, something like that.
98. I think it was
98.
98.
Here, all right. Hear me out. Okay. Metallica. And like I said before, we're like in our late 30s, early 40s. As a band, you know what I mean? As a band, ourselves, Age of Ruin, right?
Yeah.
By the way, you can visit us online at ageofruin.party and find any of our, content there. Mm-hmm. So, Metallica, in my opinion, and again, I got into them after the Black Album, but like I was telling you before, that's when I discovered thrash and I started learning about Kill 'Em All and getting into just all sorts of different bands because of it. It's like I said, a gateway drug. Mm-hmm. Black Album's out. That record, which I'm sure all of us are going to get to, I don't think a single person has flashed Black Album.
A couple.
Mm-hmm. Have we?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, well, we're going to have a band discussion after. when the band got to Load, remember they cut their hair?
Yes.
And everybody freaked out about
that. That was little on the Black Album. There were some haircuts.
And not as bad.
Yeah. There was a little of that going on.
No, nothing.
Nothing extreme.
Everyone still had long.
Jason had the shaved side.
Yeah, he did the shaved side. They
all still had long hair.
Lars was kind of starting to, he's starting to lose his hair. But when Load came out and they cut their hair, and it was like at the time, grunge was like big and starting actually at that point in time, probably even grunge was kind of starting to fade away. I felt like the band had matured to a point where they were playing what was appropriate for their age and what they were just absolutely fantastic at. Mm-hmm. They were really good. Bob Rock was a really just outstanding producer. Was really influential in all of that. And the fact that, so I put Reload as my number 4.
All right.
The fact that they were able to put together that much content to where they had to put 2 albums out.
Right.
And not all of them are like, Black Album, I would say every song is like just a classic. You know what I mean? Well, we'll get to it. But a lot of really good, just awesome songs on here. And between the two, and actually, like, I kind of conflate some of the songs between the two, but like 2x4, Ain't My Bitch, just so many really just awesome songs on these 2 records, right? So that's where I'm going with is I felt like the band evolved into what they were the best at.
I have a feeling I know where you're going for number 3.
Okay.
With that said.
Yeah, so number 3.
That was
number 3.
I'm not going to be, there it is. All right.
Number 3.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Mine's Injustice for All.
Yeah.
Justice.
Yeah, Justice for All.
You're more in lockstep with Conjure. Conjure was
Seculos.
Conjure's was the Ride to Lightning. Yep. Seculos was Injustice. Yeah, what'd you like about Injustice?
Injustice for All, I feel like had some great songs. Blackened, for instance. But it also was a little too, song structure wise, a little too bloated in my opinion. So like it was great, but the songs were like 8-9 minutes long, which I think was a little too like they were trying to go like classical, neoclassical, like some of the arrangements and stuff. It was cool, and it had great riffs, like, but like that's why it's not as high, because the songwriting was not like sharpened, I guess, or like honed in as much as some of the other albums.
Right.
Okay.
Where did you guys put Justice?
At a 4.
Okay. So
Pretty
5.
I mean, this, so that, to me, this is still top 3. The mix obviously is terrible. As a bassist, man, it's just brings a tear to your eye.
Yes.
But you got to imagine what was there. And I mean, if you look up some of those "And Justice for Jason" things they got out there, I mean, you can get a taste,
Yeah.
And this was
Still
number
top 3, man.
Number 4, right?
3.
Number 3. This is number 3.
3.
And Ben had Master of Puppets at number 3.
Did.
Yeah, so that's a bit of a surprise. That's the lowest I think I've seen that album ranked, right?
It's a great record.
Uh-huh.
It really is, and I got no complaints about it. I can listen to it all day. There's just ones that I like in front of it.
All right,
Okay.
all right, that's easy. That's an easy explanation for that.
Yeah.
All right,
Number 2.
all right. Number 2.
I went with Ride the Lightning, number 2.
Black Album.
Some masters, and there is that's the load.
Reload.
That's the reload. I like the fire. I'm gonna, Kevin, can you use your glasses?
Yeah, I put Black Album, which it's going to be unsurprising what my number 1 is, obviously, but Black Album is just, I mean, top to bottom,
So getting to
every
load,
song.
but before getting to load and reload though, because you guys have, to me, I saw a mixed order. Some people had load higher, some people had reload higher. Like, what made you choose one over the other? Because we said the same thing. We felt it was a double album, basically, just put out over different years. So, did you have a tough time discriminating between one or the other?
I definitely felt Load was a lot better.
Huh?
Definitely connected more with me.
I remember when Until It Sleeps came on the radio, and back then, and at first I was like, "Is this the Metallica I know?" But it just grew on me, and I think it kind of felt like, and I'm probably wrong about this, but it felt like maybe they cherry picked a lot of the better songs for Load because it was the first one to come out.
Right. Sure.
That's probably not the way they approached it, but that's the only reason I ranked that higher.
All right. So number 1.
Number 1.
Obviously, I chose Saint Anger.
I love it. I think you should have stayed with Saint Anger and stuck to it.
I couldn't.
That would have been awesome.
It would be very hard. I have no like point of reference to defend that album.
So it's interesting because there's the Black Album was rated very high.
You got Black is number 1
across the
Wow.
board. So
the brothers. Wow, there's
I'm looking at it.
I like the Black Album. I didn't even have it on my top 5 though.
Yeah.
I mean, and it is a great album, but it got so played out, and it was one of my first albums, and I wore it out. But then the radio played it out, and I would say, "My Friend of Misery" is really like my favorite song on there, and that's a great song. But everything else kind of got played out.
So
No wonder we were called out.
Well,
no wonder we were called out by these guys.
But at the same time, I don't want to belabor the point, but I think it is age because we are a little bit older.
Yeah.
So we were in high school when Master came out. So
Right.
that was
A little
our
bit.
gateway drug to Metallica.
Yeah.
That was
And
my first too.
and it's and with Stranger Things, it's kind of like it's bringing that,
Which I
song
also
sort of
mentioned
back
that Wednesday
into,
night. Yeah.
It's the Black Album to me. It's like Of Wolf and Man. Sad But True is,
The riffs are great, but
I mean, such a heavy song.
But then Kid Rock stole it and it made it. When he did his American Badass, I was like, man,
right. Yeah.
He just destroyed that song for everyone.
Yeah.
I think
it's funny.
I think too, like being from the whatever generation, being younger, the Black Album to me was something that I grew up with that
It's what
really
we were
influenced
introduced
me,
Yeah.
connected with me. But to answer that kind of goes along with some of the newer albums and why they were lower is like, to me, in mid-late 2000s, we started getting introduced to YouTube. We started getting introduced to like these streaming, like Spotify or iHeartRadio, these things which open your ears up to all these other bands and music to discover.
Sure.
So getting out there, you're listening to all these, like, say, European metal bands and this and that, things you've never heard of. And I just not listening to, say, back to Metallica as much because they're not.
Right.
There's just so much other stuff out there.
Right.
So.
Yeah. I think as a frame of reference too, remember we were talking about sort of what happened, like when these records came out, and I was talking about sort of grunge kind of falling out of favor. Let's talk about nu metal for a bit. You know what I mean? So that was in like the late '90s. Nu metal was coming, and so like there's bands like Korn, which like just kind of Korn,
Limp Bizkit.
Well, but let's
back off.
I'm pretty sure. So
let's calm down. Everybody, calm down.
Korn played with Sepultura a lot, and then Sepultura, the album Roots,
it was so influenced.
Oh my God, dude! Very influenced by Korn. Obviously, they kind of changed their sound. That album Roots by Sepultura is the heaviest.
It's awesome.
Record
Kevin's big fan.
ever written. The heaviest record ever written. Period. And I would take that over Hatebreed. Satisfaction is the Death of Desire, which is also an incredibly heavy record, but like again, also kind of influenced by that same time. So nu metal's sort of like coming up, and then you have this whole wave of bands that's just like copycats,
right?
Cold Chamber and eventually Slipknot. Although Slipknot ended up kind of turning into a really cool band, but that was also happening at the same time. So you have to remember, like, we're talking about ranking all these records today, but there's context.
Right. Absolutely.
There's context about, like, when these records came out. And I think, you make a good point about getting introduced to, like, European metal. And,
as a band.
And now, so, like, when you talk about Death Magnetic or Saint Anger coming out, we're listening to At the Gates. We're listening to In Flames. We're listening to... Dimmu Borgir, like we're listening to like a lot of really super talented bands that we weren't necessarily exposed to before that.
Yeah.
And I think the context is part of what plays into us appreciating these records in their at that point in time.
You guys definitely had uniformity though, like towards that bottom section. That was I was surprised by that.
I mean you spend hours and hours in a van with a bunch of dudes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're probably going to be, if we can't get along on which Metallica records are the best, we're probably not going to be a band. You know what I mean?
We saw that from all three bands we talked to when we did this little, we just wung this one on Wednesday night and we just tried it the first time ourselves. And then you reacted, but then we figured we would just throw it in front of other people and see what they would do. And then boom, like the experiment has taken a weird twist that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one thing too with the Black Album, the reason I put it first is because they had such music video support.
Yeah.
That it imprinted it in my memory in a very different way than the other albums.
Sure.
So I was thinking like listening wise, maybe Master of Puppets is my favorite. But in terms of being iconic in my life and also influencing, even photoing and videoing Age of Ruin,
Right.
is the videos that I grew up on.
Excellent.
And that's when we were learning how to associate music and video together.
Sure.
And the live show.
Yeah.
They
Injustice for All and the live shit you're talking about, like
Live
Injustice
shit, Binge and
the,
Purge.
the Injustice for All Into the Black album, like that box set with their live stuff in the the making of the Black album.
That
and
was
all
the only
stuff.
video that you generally saw of them because they made such a big deal out of the fact
Not
that
having videos on MTV until Injustice for All. That was the one was their first video, right? And then after that, the Black album, all their singles had videos. So.
Yeah, and then that was when they did the massive like entire arena floor stage show, and so before that, and again our age, I didn't see them on the Puppets tour, I didn't see them on the Justice tour, but I did see them once they were supporting the Black Album, and they had the snake pit in the middle of the stage, and they were two drum kits on stage. Lars would run from one side to the other during I think it was. Not Mechanics, but the Four Horsemen. So during the like that nod to the
I got
it. But yeah, so just that outstanding live show, and you watch, that box set, Live Shit, Binge and Purge.
Yeah,
I have on VHS. I don't have anything that can play it, but right. Just watch that over and over and over again, just being like, impressed by these guys and. The musicianship and everything.
Sure. Was that too long of a drag out there for like, blasting you through 11 Metallica albums in detail? because I love talking to you guys.
Well, I
Like,
mean, we
it's
didn't
cool.
talk
It was
about
like
S&M, and we didn't talk about Lulu.
It's like a
Let me
therapy
tell you about
session.
No Leaf Clover. That's one of my favorite songs.
All right.
Honestly,
Yeah,
it is.
absolutely.
Yeah, on
all
the
right.
first S&M.
All right, yeah, right, right. We
We
debated
left the
this.
live albums out and the compilations, all that stuff. But
Right, because we were trying to, just in terms of time, to keep it,
Yeah.
somewhat cohesive. This is where we landed. So, yeah.
So last time you guys were here, you were talking about some new material that you were recording, releasing. I see I was listening to Thieves today. That's relatively new. I like it. Good stuff. But I think you mentioned you guys have some other stuff getting ready to come out.
Yeah, so Thieves, last time we were here, we were talking about working together with a producer, a friend of ours, Mike Schleibaum, and Pablo was there helping us throughout the entire recording. That started at the onset of the pandemic. So we had this, it was just this entirely new approach to recording a
Gavin
record.
Evick's outside. It's a star-studded night.
Should come in here, man.
I know, yeah. Come on
We
in,
need to
Gavin.
find out if this dude probably.
Now he's going to tie for appearances.
We got our regulars.
What's up, guys?
I know.
What's up,
Happy
dude?
Friday to you.
Happy fucking Friday. Oh, can I say that?
Yes, you can.
That's all right,
Yeah,
man. This is age of fucking ruin. We've been dropping the F-bomb on you.
Good to see you guys.
Hey, Gavin. All right, so real quick, because we've been doing this dance all weekend. So, or not even weekend, but week. What's your favorite Metallica album?
Ride the fucking lightning.
Well, all right, yeah. So why Ride the Lightning?
For whom the bell tolls, dude.
Call of Cthulhu, Lightning
Right?
itself, some great Creeping Death. I can't come back
And I've seen
enough
you-
to Creeping Death.
Yeah.
That song just rips, man.
Gavin does them little For Whom the Bell Tolls.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. So probably Ride the Lightning. I really like that new record. What's it called? Lexi Turner?
72 with Lux Eterna, right? Everybody goes to that single, but yeah, 72 seasons. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good album. Mm-hmm. Fuck, now I'm drawing a blank because I'm being put on the spot.
I know. I'm sorry about that. I know.
What's the first one called that Seek and Destroy is on?
Kill 'Em All.
Kill 'Em All, and then the Master of Puppets one. What is that one?
That's it. You just named it.
Puppets, yeah.
It's Master. I was thinking of a
right.
name. I thought it was Master of Puppets. Those are my top three.
Puppets,
Nice.
man. There's just some
Nice.
good songs.
Yeah.
Damage Incorporated.
Yes.
So back to Thieves. We've recorded. We went in the studio at the beginning of the pandemic, and then it was like we're in the pandemic. So it was like we would go in the studio to lay down bass guitar, and then we waited 2 weeks just to see if anyone got sick. And we went into a studio, another friend's studio space that was larger, so that we could be distant and all of that stuff. So the whole thing actually took a long time to put together, and even though the songs were written. Jonathan,
Probably like 2 years before that, right? Maybe like some of the songs.
yeah, like 2019 or something like that, maybe.
Probably,
18
yeah.
even. So because of that, your creative energy doesn't stop. So we've been working on new material ever since.
Sure.
And so we've got at this point, I think we're looking at doing another EP because today, with Spotify and with the way a lot of music
Instant
is released, doing a full length is a lot of effort, and to do a full length, it takes a long time to do. And again, we've got all this creative energy going on. We want to just get stuff out. So we're looking at 7 songs, I think, at this point in time. Cool. Some of the stuff I will say personally, of all of these guys, I've never been prouder of any music that I've been part of in my entire life. And I say that not only of myself, because I've been working my ass off on perfecting my chops, but also Ben and Christopher and Hendrik. Sure. We've been approaching this in kind of a really interesting way, where we all have our own home studios. So it's kind of cool where maybe I'll throw down a metronome with a guitar track, and then Hendrik, and then we put it up on like Google Drive or Dropbox.
Right.
And then Hendrik gets it, and then he lays down a drum beat, on it. And then that spins off some creative ideas, like, oh, I didn't hear that before. Right. And so then, like, hey, what if we change this part, or like you can copy paste, like you can take a whole section, copy paste, and all of a sudden it's twice as long. Right. And then Jonathan's like, hey, that section being twice as long now, I could put a guitar solo on.
Sure.
And so we're able to do this working from home.
Right.
Like this whole work from home thing that all of us have been going through over the past few years in our professional lives.
Right.
Applies to music too.
Right.
And it's and so then that way when we do get together, we're going to be rehearsing tomorrow morning. Since we're playing tonight, we'll all crash and we'll rehearse tomorrow morning in person. That time is more efficient. We're more productive, and also it's less frustrating. So we're all just being mature and having fun. It's just awesome.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. So, repeat for the listeners and the viewers where they can, the website, your social handles, where they can find out what's going on.
We do a lot of Instagram. So this is the Age of Ruin is our handle. ageofruin.party or thisistheageofruin.com. Both of those go to the same site. We're on Facebook. Beyond that, really your best bet is to come see us in person because we're really sweet dudes and we really like meeting new people. So
awesome.
We'll be here next month, actually. It's I don't know, Jeff, if it's been announced yet online, but Localpalooza is coming up next month.
Localpalooza too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we started Jimmy's Chicken Shack headlining.
Gavin Evick's going to be there.
Yeah.
Gavin's going to be there.
Yes.
Age of Ruin.
Age of Ruin.
First try.
Vint Hill. A lot of really good
Knuckleheads, I think.
Knuckleheads, yes.
The Knuckleheads, yes. Downer is another band, kind of a punk band that we
American Jet Set.
Yes.
Man, you keep naming them. It's like I can't. You better get your tickets soon because
that's the back-to-back, right? I mean, this is two stages.
Two stages in the large room.
Yeah.
It's going to be a really fun time.
Yep. That's July 22nd.
Yep. Here at the Salisbury Center in
and
Manassas,
then
Virginia.
Spotlights on Fridays that you've been doing a lot of work on. What's coming up? I know we got the Road Ducks coming up, I think next month, but
we've got the Knuckleheads 21st. Are doing their record release party in 2 weeks on the 25th. That'll be here, which I believe is a Sunday.
Okay.
So I would recommend people come out to that. It's that'll be a really fun time. 2 months later is opening, and the Raw Dogs, I believe, are the two other bands that are playing that show.
Cool.
And we've got more to announce coming soon.
All right. Yeah. Well, thanks for stopping by again. Looking forward to the set tonight.
Welcome anytime. It was we're going in live every other Wednesday.
Wednesday, we do a live show.
Just Kevin and I, but Gavin, you're invited too. Anytime you want to pop in on a Wednesday evening, 5:30. We love talking with you all.
Yeah, I think Gavin and I we'll try to make it next time.
Love it. That'd be fantastic.
We'll have to compare notes about our Metallica records.
I know. Yeah,
I've learned a lot about you guys today. Nothing beats punk.
All right,
so.
It's a little revealing. We're not going to do Aerosmith records. You got your Run DMC shirt on.
Walk this way.
With that, we'll kick it to break on the Stand Up and Rock Show. Thanks.
Stand Up and Shout Rock Show.
Stand Up and Shout Rock Show.